Hello, everyone. I'm Martin Falls, and I wanted to come to you directly, like I've been doing for over 40 years. A lot of you have been misled about a museum article that was published in the Courier, and I want to give you the facts about what is taking place. Now, the Courier article came out and spurred people's interest, in my opinion, to blog and do different things, and it was on a proposed downtown museum. Now, people sent me a few of the posts on different platforms concerning the plight of the African American Museum called Finding Our Roots Museum and my involvement in the endeavor. I decided to come to you and tell you the facts and nothing but the facts on this endeavor. But first and foremost, the article is not factual. Mr. Colin Campbell leads off the article stating that, and I quote, Terrebonne Parish Budget and Finance Committee voted unanimously to spend $4.5 million on buying the HTV building. End of quote. This is such an inaccurate and misleading statement. You will learn by research that the $4.5 million is not for HTV, but it is designated for the Finding Our Roots Museum and their board. The museum and its director, Margie Scobie, and her board, they chose the HTV building as their wish building, as their primary location interest after Hurricane Ida and a lessee-lessor dispute drove them from their previous location. Now, I must state that the posts that people have sent me are off-base and not even close to being correct. The others were misled, in my opinion, by the article. Why would the Courier reporter not call me on this article to get my side of the story? I had to call him to ask him to come to HTV and tell him the facts of this story. I always call people and get the other side. I always make an attempt to get the other side of the story. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't, sometimes they answer you, sometimes they don't answer you, but at least get the other side. Make an attempt to get to the other side. HTV was never to receive $4.5 million for this building. I do realize that this is only for those who care about the truth. So here's the facts. Finding Our Roots was looking to relocate after Hurricane Ida. Mrs. Margie Scobie ran into me one day at lunch and told me that she would probably have to shut her museum down because her current dwelling had been damaged by Hurricane Ida. Now, I've been knowing Mrs. Scobie for years and have the utmost respect for her and have featured her on HTV several times. Now, as she was telling me her story, I felt her grief. That night, I had a wow moment. I started thinking that instead of renovating my buildings, which I'd purchased next door for someone else, that I could renovate them for HTV, our future. The reason I came to this conclusion was that I was going to offer this building to Mrs. Scobie for her museum. When I told this to Mrs. Scobie, she teared up. She was taken back. However, the next big challenge would be, how do we pay for the building? I was not in the position, for the record, like some have posted on Facebook, to just give Ms. Scobie a $3.14 million building. I know some stated that I should do this, but these people are unrealistic. So I approached the parish president at the time, Mr. Gordon Dove, and asked him if Mrs. Scobie's museum would qualify for the CDGB federal monies that were being allocated for unique community ideas. Mr. Dove graciously inquired, and then a yes came back to us. They had told him yes, probably so. So the plan was to apply in two installments. The first one was for $1 million and the second for $2.9 million. But once all approved, out of the $3.9 million, $3 million would go to the purchase of this building and $900,000 would go to the operations cost of the first few years. Now keep in mind, my appraisal was for 3.114. So I gave her I rounded it off to $3 million, gave her the $114,000 so that she could not have to spend that. That way she'd have the full $900,000 to work her magic for a few years with the museum. So I agreed to sell her the building for $3 million, and I was also going to throw in some limited furniture and other items that she may need. Now you may ask, why would I move? Why would I leave this beautiful building? The answer is simple. Why not? Why not move to a more streamlined facility and allow the bigger building to be used for a bigger future public gathering space, much needed downtown? Museums need space. We are not using the entire 24,000 square feet at this location, so it made complete sense. And honestly, I enjoyed renovating this old building. I love this old building. So when we did that, other people purchased properties, renovated buildings, moved downtown. I was so happy that we were able to initiate a lot of that. It was gratifying. So why not help Mrs. Scobie to reach her dream? We all need help to reach our dreams, right? Well, she needed my help to find a location, and I was providing one. It's as simple as that. Why? Because back in 1982, when local investors helped me at the age of 22 achieve my dream of making a movie. Yes, Nutriman. We all need help somewhere to get started. And it must also be said that Mrs. Scobie helps people all the time. So why not help someone who helps people? She helps more than the African Americans. She helps everyone of every race know their heritage. She lives this stuff. It's in her blood. Call her and find out. After many steps and now into a new administration, Mr. Jason Bergeron met with all of us several times to help push it through. It had been handed off to him. Thanks to Mr. Bergeron for making several efforts to make this a reality. CDGB granted the monies through federal dollars that were to be strictly distributed to, and only that, of the Finding Our Roots Museum. In fact, Mr. Bergeron graciously offered to up the grant a little bit to give Ms. Scobie a little more renovating monies if she chose to, or different things of that nature. So we want to thank him for that. I must also say that contrary to some posts, these monies cannot be used for local roads and bridges as stated. You can't take monies allocated by the federal government for a project and go build other things. These funds distributed by the federal government can only be used for the Finding Our Roots Museum. Furthermore, in order for the building to be approved, an appraisal was necessary through all this process. So the first appraisal that was mandated by the government was done by Charles Butts, a commercial appraiser. He came back with 3.114, $3,114,000. It's public record. Make a public records request to TPCG if you want to see it. If you can't get through them, come get one from me. I'll be glad to supply you with one. My only part of the agreement was to sell the building for no more or no less than $3 million, period. Now, I know now where people got the $4.5 million. That was erroneous. So, fact, I'm offering this building for $3 million. I spent $3.8 million to buy and build the old DuPont building. Yes, I bought an old rundown department store and turned it into a proud corner for all to take pride in. You can say whatever you want about this being a bad business deal or whatever, but it was my chance to help a lady with a dream, and I took the bold move to do it. I could have built this station in the rural area of Terrebonne and Lafourche for much less, but I chose downtown Houma. And if you recall, when I renovated this old building in around 2010, if you passed by it, you would have seen nothing but plywood on the windows. You would have seen a building that was leaking all over the place. Well, I took charge of it, and I made this a very beautiful building. Simple as that. So, without this building being built and without everyone else following their heart and their leads to build downtown and build it up, downtown dies. And if downtown dies, then the heart of Houma dies. On this sale to Finding Our Roots, if approved by the council, there will be a second appraisal because the first appraisal expired and exceeded the 1-year requirement. If the second appraisal comes back comparable with the first appraisal, then we move forward. If it does not, then I will probably stay in the current building and sell or lease the other buildings to interested parties. I have not based my financial life situation on the sale of this building. I simply made a nice gesture to a woman who wants to tell her story through a museum. I made a promise to her to see it through, and I plan on seeing it through. What the council does at the next meeting, I have no control over. Margie is a genuine person who wants to see her dream come true. I have total trust in Margie, and if this transaction is successful, I will help her achieve her dream. Whatever happens, I will continue to be the owner of a TV station in Houma. Many of you were misled to believe that we were shutting down or disappearing. That's not the case. I appreciate the loyalty of my staff. They are so loyal. And when things like this happen, it affects them. They come up to you and go, man, what's happening? Do we have a job? What's going on? That's unfair to them. So I can only tell everyone out there, we're here to stay. We're here to keep reporting news here in the area, and we are going to do what's best because I love this parish, I believe in this parish, and I can't control the people at the keyboard, and I won't. But I will continue to love this parish and do what I think is right. God bless all of you. Thank you for listening.